Today I'm going to show you how to hardwire yourself some internet access in your unfinished basement. I'll show you how to go from your router through the wall down into your basement to a centralized hub and how to send the signal from there to all the rooms where you're going to need it. I'm also going to show you how to retrofit hardwired internet access into a room that's already finished. So here's my router, right next to the entry point where our internet signal comes into our home. It's on the opposite end of the house and a floor above where I'm building a new makerspace in the basement. My Wi-Fi signal can't really make it there. I could totally use a satellite booster if I wanted, but it's pretty straightforward to get this place hardwired since walls aren't up yet. I just need to get a cable from the router into the basement, so I'm going to start there. A look in the basement under the router position shows me there's an opening I may be able to feed the wire through. I was thinking about just letting this wire come straight out of the drywall, but I decided to give it a more finished look. So I use an old work electrical box. These are pretty handy, just cut out a rectangle the size of the box. Then I feed a metal wire through the hole, and yes, this will work perfectly. Down below, I hook my cable onto the wire and pull it through. Yahtzee! I get the cable pulled up from the basement and through the hole next to the router. Insert the box into the opening and then screw it down, and the plastic wings tighten and pull against the back of the drywall. Pretty slick. For an Ethernet wall plate, I'm going with one from Amazon that basically has a coupler that allows me to just click my cable into place in the electrical box before screwing the plate into position. Then I'll use a short cable to go from the wall plate to the router, and I'm in business. Before we go on, I should mention that I am a science teacher and I'm definitely not in the IT business. Having said that, feel free to drop a comment below with any questions or suggestions you might have, and I'll try to answer them. Now I have access from the router to the basement. I've got about 50 feet of cable here, which is plenty to get me to the center of the basement where I'm going to have a centralized hub for the network. I punched some holes in the joists between where the cable drops to the basement and the hub with a hammer and feed the cable through the holes to the hub location. With cables in position, I use some wiring staples to keep my cables up in position and out of the way. Now it's time to connect to the hub. I'm going to be sending the signal from here to 4 locations in the basement when it's all built. So I have a 5-port unmanaged Ethernet switch. Unmanaged just means that it's a simple plug-and-play unit. I picked this one up on Amazon, and I have a link in the description for this and the other tools and materials I'm using for this job in case you need them. From here, I'm going to send out 2 cables for the computer setups I'm going to have in the future makerspace. I need to drill some holes through studs to get each cable from the hub to its final position in the makerspace. So I use my 20-volt DeWalt drill with an 11/16" bit to drill the holes where I need them. You could drill much smaller holes if you don't have pre-installed ends on your cable. Mine are already installed, so I need the room to get them through the wall. I won't install the wall plate for the electrical box until after the drywall is hung. The final cable run I'm doing is going to be a tough one. Some of you may be in a position similar to mine where you want to hardwire internet in a room that's already finished. I unfortunately didn't think of running an internet cable when I was finishing the first room in our basement a couple years ago, so I'm going to retrofit a cable into position here. I've got to get creative as the outside walls of this bedroom are all finished. I do have an opening above the closet's bedroom, but it's about 6 feet from the access point. I need to get the cable to that position and to actually fall with gravity down the wall, so here's my plan. I route my cable through a spare piece of conduit that'll act as an arm extension. I'm not confident the cable will actually fall with gravity between the studs, so I attach a little bit of weight to the end of the cable. When it's in position over the chamber within the wall, I release the cable and it falls. Perfect. Now that I can get the cable down the inner wall chamber, I'm going to go ahead and install an electrical box into position. This quasi box came with a pack of Ethernet wall plates, and I like it better than the old work electrical box that I installed next to the router. Finally, I plug the RJ45N to the Ethernet cable into the Ethernet wall plate, and we're all set up. I've hardwired my internet signal from one side of the house down a level and to the other side. If you found this video helpful, I'd appreciate it if you gave it a really big thumbs up. It really does help. And after seeing this, if you feel like I earned your subscription, you can drill that Man Cycle logo to follow along. If you'd like to see this makerspace build from the beginning, I've got a playlist you can check out right up there. Oh, too easy. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.